What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into ByerlyStudios for yet another awesome video in the Goliath Birdeater Tarantula diorama build. Yes, that's a mouthful, and this is an awesome project so far. I'm so happy with how it's turned out. Now, this is a kind of an excerpt or like an addition to the sculpting video that we saw last week, where I was sculpting this actual rotted log that we're adding to the diorama base. Now, the base is out of DOS air dry clay, and this is actually Sculpey original. We're trying to use as many different types of clays in this build because that's what the purchaser had wanted. She wanted to kind of see a lot of different techniques in the series and have fun with it, and I'm trying to do the best I can to give her some fun videos while also creating an amazing piece of work for her. Now, this is technically also raw clay on the actual two tumblers itself still. It hasn't been baked yet, and I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of just adding a little stubbed branch to the main body here. I just felt like it needed a little something extra here. This would be something that kind of sticks out away from the body of the rotting log, and that the spider can be kind of like hanging over in a way. So I've attached a piece of armature wire, a thicker gauge than normal, to the actual main part of the clay, and we're kind of cascading that out in a way. Now, I will cut that a little bit shorter. I kind of cut it a little bit, made it a little bit too long there. So we just didn't want to make it absolutely too long. I don't want it to be like a really huge, ugly looking thing that's kind of taking away from the eyes of the actual bird eater spider when we get it sculpted. But I definitely wanted to have it like there in some way. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of slowly adding in clay, bulking it out, kind of blending it into this existing kind of raised knot type of shape here. And what we're doing here is we're just kind of blending that in. I'm trying to smooth it out, make it look like it's an actual piece of the existing wood. Now, all of this is going to have pretty much like a rotted wood texture. So when I do go ahead and kind of when I start to add the texture and all of the nice kind of little details, like even whether it's sculpting with a little sculpting curvature tool like this, or the dimpling or embossing tool, whatever I'm using at the time, I just want to kind of keep the idea that it's a piece of wood that's kind of just shooting away from the main body. You can kind of see here, it's just a very simple process. You block in your existing clay, and then you just start in with some of the details. Right now, I'm just using this to kind of push the clay where I want it to kind of get the general sculpture of the actual branch itself. Just making it look visually pleasing to me. Once I get this to the point where we can actually kind of be happy with how the overall shape is, at that point then I'll kind of turn around and I'll start to use the wire tool, and I'll start to kind of sculpt it and detail it with some striations and some little like little bug holes and bug scratches, and then I'll use my thumb and my fingers with my glove just to kind of smooth those out and make them just look like they've been there all along. Now, although this is the smaller portion, as far as the build itself, I did feel like it was such a fun little addition to the build that I wanted to have its own little individual video. So I do hope you are enjoying this little small video of the main build itself. The previous video to this was quite a bit longer, just because it was a little bit more material that we were covering as far as the rotting log itself. But I'm really happy with how this little addition is turning out. Now, as I said before, there's the wire tool. We're beginning to introduce that and kind of add a lot of texture there. And as you kind of see the overall shape evolve here in a few moments, we'll cut this a little bit short, and then we'll add a secondary little smaller branch onto this existing one. Alrighty, so here's the second branch. We're going to add that on with a little smaller piece of armature wire. Now, that is substantially smaller, and it's just to give it some just general character there, so that way it's just not some random branch just sticking out there. And this just gives it some varying like size and texture, and it's just one more thing to kind of catch the eye. And what we'll do is we'll take our carving tools here, and we'll kind of stub both of these off before adding texture to the end of each individual branch to make it look like that it's kind of broken. And when we come in with some dirt and some substrates like mulches and leaves and stuff over the main DOS air dry clay base, it'll really kind of bury those into the dirt and make them look like they're kind of one piece already laying in the dirt, and it will look really good. I know that kind of is hard to imagine now, but later on in the processes through this series, you'll kind of see what I mean by that. And we're not very far from that. After this video, and after we bake the main tumblers itself and we get those ready to go, at that point we can immediately start in with some paints. Now I decided to go ahead and break this off here and kind of slice it away, and that's just giving it some general texture to make it look like if it were broken right there, then this is just some texture that had maybe stripped away some of the bark and some of the existing wood underneath that top bark layer. Scuffing that up as we go, just making sure that it looks like some nice detailed wood, not per se like a cut in your skin or anything, but just a woody texture. I'm going to go ahead and remove those and stub those out right there, and then we're going to go back to the wire tool just to kind of detail those out. And like I said, some of that will be buried in the dirt, and that is completely planned. Looking pretty good so far, you guys. Now, although this is the smaller portion of the overall build, I think that this is a really cool addition to the project, as I said before. I really do hope y'all enjoyed this part of the build. I know that I have. And as we just apply a last few final details to the overall rotted log texture there, adding all of those bug holes, kind of termite damage, existing wood scratches, when we come in and start to paint this, it's going to look absolutely incredible. I'm so beyond excited that I was able to add that to the rotting log, and I think it really gives a cool effect. I do think that I'll come back later on down the road and I'll probably sculpt quite a few tumblers in this style and make the branch portions the actual mug handle itself. But otherwise, I hope y'all enjoyed this smaller video. I will catch you guys on the next one, which will be paint.
Thank you for watching. Check out all of these awesome videos.